Welcome to another episode of Building a Leadership Mindset Podcast. This is your host, Nikki C., all the way from Philadelphia, PA. This is brought to you by BALM Global and the Connected Leaders Academy. I'm super excited for this amazing guest that I actually met over a year ago online and was able to meet him in person recently at my book launch for Building a Leadership Mindset book, 13 Mindsets to Give Yourself Permission to Succeed. So let me just bring up his. I was super excited. We have for a very special guest for you. His name is Bruce Serbin. He's simply put, he gets experts featured on TV, radio, and magazine podcasts, and on major websites. Over the last 20 years, Bruce has placed his clients on major media outlets such as NBC, Today, ABC's Good Morning America, CBS This Morning, CNBC, Fox News, MSNBC, and CNN, the Associated Press, the BBC, Reuters, the New York Times, USA Today, the Wall Street Journal, Forbes, Time, and many more. Over the years, Bruce's clients have included the bands One Direction, Nick Cannon from the America's Got Talent, Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank, Dr. Buck Parker from The Island, and Samantha DeBianchi, the first woman to star on Bravo's hit TV show The $1 Million Listing. He has also worked with Fortune 500 companies such as Office Depot, Panasonic, and others. Bruce has been featured in Forbes, Entrepreneur, Business News Daily, and Yahoo, as well as in industry publications. After concluding a career in Tampa Bay television, Bruce founded Serbin Media. Bruce has written numerous books, spoken at business events around North America, and still creates national media campaigns. Without further ado, let's bring my good friend on. Bruce, how are you?
Hey, I'm great. Hi, Nikki. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So honored to have you here. It's been amazing. Just the time that has passed, the short amount of time, we haven't even hit a year since I first met you and Tim back at one of the AMA events, May 14th. I would never forget that day because that was the day my life changed. And it's because I connected with people in this community like you. And I'm so honored to have you here and can't wait to really dive in to what we're about to talk about. But first, Bruce, tell us a little bit about where you're from, what you've done before the whole shine camera action stuff. So
Yeah, so I'm from South Florida, Miami, Fort Lauderdale area. It's pretty warm. It's always funny speaking to people, up north and in the Midwest, and they're telling me how cold it is and it's snowing. And I'm like, it's 80 something degrees. So, but before I got into all this, it was interesting because growing up, I guess I was one of the few people I actually knew from a really young age what I wanted to do when I grew up. And I wanted to be a TV news reporter, right? That was my dream. I was lucky to know what I wanted to do. And I got to do that for a number of years. And eventually just kind of got tired of all the negative, depressing stuff covering car accidents and murders. And I'm like, gosh, this is what I wanted to be. This is what I was aspiring to do my whole life. And it's just like, oh, okay, maybe it wasn't as glamorous as I thought. It was fun. It was a great experience. But then, like a lot of journalists, I crossed over into the PR world, the public relations side, did a whole bunch of different types of PR. But for me, I always came back to the media stuff. And here I am still working at it, but it's so much better. It's more enjoyable on this side for sure.
absolutely. Wow. Not a lot of people get to really say what they want to be when they grow up and actually become that. And just tell us a little bit about your transition from changing from what you inspired to be and then transitioning to becoming more on the media side. Like what really attracted you to that side?
Well, I think it was just sort of a logical transition. First it was a little upsetting because I'd been doing this for so long, thought this is what I was always going to do. And then, one day when it was just like, I'm like, okay, there's got to be something better. And it was kind of like this empty feeling inside, like, well, what do I do now? This is what I've always wanted to be. And so a friend of mine said, hey, I know some journalists, they've kind of worked, they take their skills, everything they acquired working in a newsroom, And now they work on the PR side of it. So you still get to write, you still get to work with journalists, and you're actually really good at it because you started in the business, on that side of the business. So when you go onto this side, it's sort of an easy, logical transition. And I found that to be really true for myself because I know how a journalist thinks. I know what goes on in a TV newsroom. And so for a number of years, I worked for some different PR firms around the country. And then in about 2009, 2010, right when we were going through that recession, I was with this firm, and unfortunately, I was in a position where my job got eliminated. So it was like, okay, well, what do I do now? And I'll never forget, there was this client, I worked on his account, and he said, well, did you ever think of going out on your own and doing your own thing? And I was like, what, me? No, I could never do that. Oh gosh, are you kidding me? I'm just not made up for that. But it was pretty much either that or I guess collect unemployment or start looking for another job. And so I'm like, well, you know what? What do I have to lose? And I gave it a shot, and here I am, whatever it's been, 13 or so years later, and still doing my thing. And, there've been some wins, some losses, a lot of successes, definitely a lot of failures along the way, but it was the greatest thing, that I ever did, and never would have thought of it if it wasn't for that client who's still with me to this day, which is pretty remarkable. So.
That's awesome. That's awesome to hear. You said a lot of things that, we go through today where we get in a position where we have to make a choice in our life. And that's what this, podcast is about, is just the leadership within yourself and the mindset that you have to have when you're making those tough choices and really seeing what the next step is. So how was your mindset at that point where you said that you felt like, no, I could never do that, which a lot of people tell themselves, they talk themselves out of the greatness that's about to happen. What would you say to those that are really kind of feeling that right now? And what should they do, or what steps should they take to really believe in themselves?
Well, I'll tell you what, Nikki, I was the worst, right? I mean, I was beating myself up so bad. I, in my mind, had told myself that I had failed before I even began. I mean, I had every reason in my head why this wasn't going to work out, why I wasn't cut out for it, why I wouldn't be a good leader, why I couldn't survive on my own. And, again, just being in that position where it's like, you have to do this. You really don't have a choice if you want to survive, if you want to make money and, continue being able to afford things. Well, here's somebody who's giving you an opportunity. They're saying they want you to be successful. They want to take their business to you. I would say just step through that fear, because I was terrified, right? I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, business, entrepreneur, what is this stuff, right? I didn't know what I was doing, but just step through the fear, because what I found is, when you get on the other side, it's just amazing. And I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's going to be full of success and people are going to be patting you on the back, the whole time, because God knows I've fallen on my face more times than I can remember. I've had more failures than I care to remember. But something happens inside of you where I think just internally you become proud of yourself. Your confidence goes up, because it's like, wow, look what I just did. I didn't think I could do this. And trust me, again, I did not think I would be able to do this. And it's like, oh my gosh, I just did this. I've been running this business, and then the years go by and it's like, wow, look at that. I was able to do this. Well, what else can I do? And it built my confidence, and just the experiences that I've had over the years and the people that I've got to meet, it's just been incredible. So I would say just go for it. Don't let that fear, don't let the doubts hold you back. I mean, really, in most things, I think, what's the worst that's going to happen? Okay, it's not going to work out. And so you find something else, you go for something else. And that's what I did. And here I am.
Yeah, that's powerful. That's powerful. And I had to actually make those choices in my life. And I write it in my book. The first one was having the courage from one state to another without knowing anyone, without, really a plan, without that game plan. And when I actually made that transition and found my spouse and really kind of molded me and, encouraged me to, just finish off school, just do whatever you have to do. And then that really led on to the other transitions, getting, applying for a job that I had no background and no experience, and really taking the leap of faith that they would accept me. And they did, and they gave me that chance, and then building that up for 15 years to then say, you know what, this is not what I'm meant to do either. So it's so powerful that, you have to go through it. When you hit that glass ceiling, there's a reason why you're hitting it. There is another path. You never walk the same path more, for as long as you can, if it's not meant to be. So when those doors open, you have to really run and snatch them up and just believe that there is something better on the other side. So thank you for bringing that out. Can you tell us a time where you had a challenging moment where you just wanted to possibly give up and transition to something else? And how was your mindset to talk yourself out of that and just continue to get through whatever that barrier was?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'll never forget the very first time I got on a stage, right? So this was a couple of years into my business, things were going pretty well. And then one day, this client that I worked with, he says, I'm holding this event down in, he's from Georgia. He says, I'm holding this event in Atlanta, and we're going to have a room full of entrepreneurs. He said, I'd love for you to come out and speak to everybody about what you do. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I've never been on a stage before, right? He's like, and I'm like telling him I'm freaking out about this. And he's like, no, you'll do great, I promise you. And I wanted to back out. I tried to come up with every excuse why I couldn't do this because I was terrified of this, right? And I'll never forget, I go to this event, and I'll never forget that morning. I woke up, I'm probably running to the bathroom 10 times that day before he brings me out. And I was just so nervous. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep the night before, but I wanted to back out of it. And he just said, no, I'll bring you up. You'll do great. And, look, I got through it. I'm not going to tell you it was the greatest thing ever. And, since then, I think it's like what we said earlier, where you just step through that fear. You step through that, oh, I can't do this, I'm going to be terrible. And you just go for it. And, it's funny. I've done it, so many times since then. And I still get the butterflies. I still get the fear, but I just know how it's going to pan out in my mind. But that was definitely one time that, had I not gone for that, if I just said no, and I'm never going to do this, I'm never going to try, I would have missed out on so many opportunities over the year. Because, as you know, Nikki, it's, being on a stage just presents so many opportunities in business for us. So it's really important. And I would just say, go for it. And it's so funny too, because it's like we're our own worst enemies, right? You would think, oh, I'm going to be my own best friend, I'm going to be my biggest cheerleader. Yet we just beat up on ourselves and come up with every reason why we can't do something. It's crazy.
It is crazy. We are our own self-sabotagers. I call that the inner hater, the voice that's within that, talks you out of those things. But to your point, May 14th of last year was the first time I hit a stage in front of strangers. I knew no one but my son in that room. I had just met Emilio for, I believe, we had went to Texas, and he asked me what was my story that led to me signing on with them for my book. But that was the first time I hit the stage, because I knew I wanted to be a speaker. I want to be a motivational speaker. I want to hit stages around the world and just empower people to really take that chance, the chance that you said, just go through it. Had I not hit that stage, I would absolutely not be where I'm at today. And it's so important about investing in yourself. People see that as, probably a cost or wasting money, or you, because you don't know what you don't know what's going to come out on the other side. But when you take a chance on yourself, there's nothing but greatness to come out of it regardless. And I was scared. Being a corporate trainer, I've spoken a lot in front of people, but they were people I knew and systems that I built myself. So it was nerve-wracking. Since then, I was able to speak, a couple times. I even won my 3rd place trophy, and I'm still not done yet.
I remember
but once
that.
you get started,
Right.
you get that adrenaline, and you just want to keep going. You want to keep going. So we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to hear from our sponsors, and we're going to come back with Bruce Serva and what we have coming up really, really soon. Give me minutes. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Jose Escobar, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Connected Leaders Academy. We're a growing tribe, a community of entrepreneurs all over the world, globally, all across the country, high performers, titans of industry. If you're an entrepreneur and you're looking to grow personally and professionally, scale your influence, develop your skill sets, move the needle in your business, more clients, more money, more profit, the bottom line. And of course, grow your circle and your network like never before. This is where you want to be. Join the Connected Leaders Academy today. We are scaling massively. We want to welcome you in. Check me out on Instagram and on Facebook, the @ JASCO25. We look forward to having you join us. Take care.
Welcome back. Welcome back. We are here with Bruce Serbin. We are talking about how he helps people get in front of the camera and smoothly and surely get it right so that you can promote and build. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. First of all, let's talk about how you came to meet Tim and what you guys built to today.
Yeah, so Tim Burt, just an amazing guy, one of the best in his business that I've ever met. I'll never forget, it was right before COVID, maybe it was 2017, 2018, and we didn't know each other. We both attended this event up in Toronto, and he was a speaker, I was a speaker, and I listened to him, and I was like, wow, this is fascinating stuff, because it played so well into what I do. And we talked after and like, wow, we really have something here that we could do together, because I'm on the publicity side. I help, people get into the media. But before you work with me, you really need to work with somebody like Tim, who just helps you with your marketing, helps you get your messaging right. And so we developed this program called Booked on Media. And now we just help entrepreneurs and authors and speakers, do exactly that. He works with you first, then you come to me. But yeah, it was just a total coincidence where we were both at this event and we're like, hey, we've got something that we could do together. This just meshes up so well. And, and on top of that too, I mean, I know, Tim, he's just such a nice guy, so giving. And, we're just great friends too, which is so much more, it's pleasant when you get to work with people that you really like. It makes a huge difference. And we just get along so well.
I love it. I love it. Yes. So Tim, through the Connected Leaders Academy and through AMA, and just connecting with him in like the little masterminds and stuff like that. Like he is a genius in his craft. He can drop something like in an instant, just an idea that will just level you up instantly. And that's what I love about him. And I actually took one of his courses for the Black Friday sale, which has definitely been beneficial on really how to put my message out there and be able to scale what I have started in less than 7 months, which is crazy to me. But it all took one event. It took the event for you guys to connect and really share your ideas and build that collaboration. How important, let our audience know how important it is to just really go all in when there's that opportunity to be in that networking space with people and what they can actually find in there, what they can look forward to.
Yeah, it's huge whenever you have an opportunity to attend something where you can be in a room, with like-minded people who want to succeed, who want to do something good and bigger, with their life. And that's why I'm so excited about your event that's coming up, because I know that's going to be great. And I'm looking forward to connecting with everybody there in May. But whenever you have that opportunity, I mean, sure, you could look at it and say, well, I've got to travel and it's going to cost me to go here and there. But whenever you have that opportunity, I mean, the return that I've gotten from every event and from everybody that the things that have come from it, meeting so many great people and just all the opportunities that have come from it, it's huge. But, again, with Tim, we just mesh so well, and it's just amazing to look what we've created in the last few years, and just look at some of our students who've had so much success, in the media. We have one guy who I know was in our class the other day, Eric Rittmeyer, who went through our program, and he's just out there killing it. He got his messaging right. He wrote his book, and he's out there in the media all the time. You see him on local TV, national TV. He's just done so well for himself. And that's really, I guess, rewarding too, when you mentor somebody and then you watch them go out and have that success with it. It's just the greatest feeling in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that was spectacular that you did bring someone on. So I'm part of your Books on Media training. We're almost like halfway through. I've been enjoying every step of the process, just really diving into putting things in place where they need to be so that my message is just amplified to the 10th power, so that people really know what they get when they see Nikki or when they hear Nikki Cuesta, right? So it has been absolutely beneficial. So Booked on Media, tell us a little bit. And wait, let me go back, because I do want to talk about Eric, because he's just phenomenal. He is like always on 10. I just loved his energy and the good tips that he gave from what he learned through his process were just gems and diamonds just flowing through that. I know everybody was definitely in awe of what you guys have produced. But it takes us. It takes us to really want to do it. We can get the information, but are we going to use the information? And I think that the way you guys lay it out, it's just a piece of cake. Just go into action, go into go mode, and just make it happen for yourself. So let us know how Booked on Media was birthed. What things can they really gain off of that? And I know you'll be talking about that at the event, so don't give us too much, but definitely give us a nice little teaser so we can be ready and ready to jump on that offer.
Yeah, and I'll tell you too, you just said something that's so key. You said you have to be willing to do the work. And it's so true, because I've watched two types of people go through that program. And I guess it's like any program in life. You know, we can give you all the tools, we can tell you how to do something, but then it's ultimately up to you to go out there and do it. And there's always, you know, Tim and I always say there's two types of students that we have. There's the people who go through the program and they really don't put it into use. I mean, they acquire the knowledge, they know what they have to do, but they don't do it. And then you have the people who actually put it into practice and go out there and do it. And it's just, it's amazing to see what they can do. But with our program, just to tell you a little bit more about that. So it's about a 12 or 13 week online program. We do a series of live calls from 8 to 9 p.m. at night. Tim does the first half of the calls where he helps you get your marketing right. He helps you get your messaging right. He goes over your social media. He teaches, he's got this, it's amazing. It was mind blowing. He teaches you how to write a book in just a couple of hours. It's something I've watched him do, and it's absolutely amazing. He's got this thing called the Disneyland map, where it pulls your marketing together like nothing I've ever seen before. It's just phenomenal. But anyway, he gets you packaged up the right way, and then I take over with the second half of the calls, and then I show you how to take everything that you've got from Tim and how to get yourself out there in the media, how to get yourself on morning television, how to get yourself on radio, how to be quoted as an expert in newspapers and magazines and online news sites, how to write articles that get picked up by the mass media. Then we go into media training, how to give a good on-camera interview. We cover all of this. So the goal is that once you go through the program, you're packaged up properly, and now you're ready to start getting yourself out there in the media and really take yourself, raise that profile, build credibility for yourself, and the things that it does for a brand, for a business, for your book, you know, just for you as a whole. It's phenomenal. Again, some of the successes that we've seen, it's so exciting to watch it for me when people go through it and really put it into use and do so well with it.
Yeah, I'm so excited for your half, which is coming up as well. Tim has done amazing.
I got the fun half. My half's the fun half. No, I'm just kidding.
Good. I can't wait. But I think Tim's half was fun too. So this has to be like extra fun. So I'm super excited about that. So who would you say would need this type of training, type of course, type of information, and who can it benefit?
Yeah, it can benefit a lot of different types of people. Number one, any authors. I mean, we absolutely love to work with authors. And you don't have to have a book, but if you do have a book, it's certainly beneficial, especially when it comes to the media process. I know when I'm out there with my clients trying to get them on television and in the press, having the ability to say, well, they are an author really helps, because you got to remember, journalists, they want to interview experts, right? I always give the example, and it's a real high level example, but if you watch CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, whatever you like to watch, well, what do you see all day long? You see interview after interview after interview with these so-called experts, right? They're people who are there explaining the news. So when somebody like me, a publicist, has the ability to go in and say, well, this person's, you know, the author of this book, it shows that journalist expertise. It says, okay, well, if they've written a whole book about this topic, they must know what they're talking about. And again, it's not everything. You don't have to have the book, but we do love to work with authors. Certainly, speakers, entrepreneurs, really anybody, I would say, with a business, with a small business who's just looking to sort of scale up, looking to get visibility, right? Looking to get eyeballs on their business. And most importantly is looking to build credibility. And the reason we say that is because what I've always loved about the media is that you can't just, it's not like, let's say like Facebook or Instagram where anybody can do it, right? I can go onto Facebook and say pretty much anything I want. But if I said to you, Nikki, why don't you just go down to the TV station and tell them to put you on TV? Well, sure, you could go down to the TV station, but they're not going to just put you on TV. So when, we teach you how to make those opportunities happen, and that's where the credibility comes from, because not everybody can do it. Not everybody can just walk into the TV station and be like, hey, I'm here, put me on the air. So we teach you how to make those opportunities come about. And that's where the credibility comes from, because then people look at you as, wow, wait a minute. He or she, that they were featured, by this TV station, by this newspaper, by this media outlet, and the perception that comes from that, it's just huge. The credibility, the expertise that's taken away from that. That's what I've always loved about it.
Yeah, that's what I love about this training as well. It has been absolutely phenomenal, and definitely has opened my eyes to foresee my future with, just taking this course and really the mission and the movement that I'm on. So I know that everyone needs it. I'm going to just say everyone in every industry. I don't care if you do nails. I don't care if you're a hairdresser. Write a book about it. Do what you have to do to make sure that you are really putting that message out. What I love, I have this beautiful friend. She actually will be at the event as well. And she's a cake decorator. And being a cake decorator, she actually inspires people and coaches people through baking, which is super innovative, super. I mean, if you have that passion and that's your therapy, use the tools around you to really make something beautiful and creative happen. So again, I just think everybody needs it, especially if you definitely want that on you and your message and really make the difference that this world needs today. You said earlier about, being a news anchor and having to talk about all the depressing stuff that we see on TV. And I actually don't watch the news anymore because of that, because I don't want that negative atmosphere to enter into my world right now, because I am focused, I'm on a mission, and I know that there's greater things out there and we can all be a part of that. And it's just amazing the opportunity that you and Tim has put together for, entrepreneurs, small businesses to really get their name out there and really sell their message to the masses. So I am super honored again to just even be a part of it, to be in the presence of, again, it just took one networking event to connect me with these gentlemen, and my life has changed. And I'm still not done yet. There's still much more to go. So I can't wait to the second half. So let's move into Empower and Inspire. That's coming up May 20th. If you have not gotten your ticket, do not wait any longer, because there will be a cap really, really soon. We are really diving into filling this space up just to empower and inspire you and really get out of your head to make these things happen in your life. There's no time like now. And how important is that, Bruce, where people are on the fence? They're kind of on that cliff right now, and they're really not knowing what exactly to do and how to get there. What piece of advice do you have for our audience to make that choice, to jump?
I would just get there. Just show up. Just buy the ticket and get there, because you will not regret it. Again, I can tell you, and I know some of the people that you have coming to this event, and they're just completely world-class, just amazing people. But again, every time I have gone to an event like this, I always gain so much more than the initial investment. I mean, that's almost meaningless at this point, because what I take away from these things, I mean, you learn so much from all the different people on stage. You get to meet so many different people who you would otherwise never get to meet. And again, I know you have some amazing people coming to this event in May that I can't wait to meet. And something else happens too. When you walk out of these events, it's sort of like, I guess I would describe it as like a natural high, because you're spending a weekend with people who are sort of in the same boat with you. And you get to see that, number one, you're not alone if you're struggling. Number two, you're so inspired by all their wins and all their successes. And I just come from these events and I'm just ready to conquer the world. It's just the greatest feeling. But again, the connections, the knowledge, everything about it has just always been so much greater than that investment. I mean, they pay for themselves 3, 4, 5 times over again. It's just, I love these things. I love going to as many as I can, because it's also how you learn. It's how you grow. You speak with other people, whether they're in your industry, whether they're in totally different industries. Again, just the networking, the bonding, and the knowledge has always been the biggest takeaways for me. So I would say just go, just get your ticket and go.
Yes, absolutely. I love when you said it is a natural high, and sometimes that high actually lasts for weeks, for months, depending, if you really take action and really apply the things that are given there. And I, as the host of this event, I'm there to learn as well. I'm there to pick up knowledge. I am there to connect, to bond, to see who that next collaborator is, to see how we can join forces to make things happen around the globe, because that's what BALM Global is about. That's the movement that we're on. But every single event, like literally since May 14th, my sphere has grown over 1,000 plus. My connection of people, and each month it was like another 100, another 200. And literally we are like, I talk to them every day. I'm in their communities. I am text messaging them like, hey, how was your day? What can we do? How can I serve you? How can I be of assistance to what you have going on? And it just stems so well, and it just builds just that authentic community that is just ongoing and ongoing. And again, it's only been less than a year since this all happened, and to know that a whole year will pass by the time my event goes on, and I already have a book, I have my podcast, I have all these things, and it's only because I made that decision to get in a room. And I want that to be what it is for everyone, because that's where the magic happens. The magic happens when you're in the room. We do have, for those that can't travel in, we do have the virtual space as well, and you still want to be just as present, with the possibility, with the actual recording available as well. So even if you purchase your ticket and you have to come in and out because of your schedule, you'll have access to the recording and access to a workbook PDF with all our speakers' information, with the agenda. And it's just going to be absolutely amazing. Just thinking about what I have heard from my guests, from my speakers, from the people that actually have purchased their ticket, I just see it to be phenomenal. And it's not just because I'm hosting it. It's just because an event does that to the community, and it really brings people together. So thank you so much, Bruce, for coming on, for joining the BALM family. I am super in awe of you and what you guys are doing. Can't wait to this Thursday to really dive into what we're going to dive into. Any final words on what you want to leave our guests with, on mindset, on leadership, on just anything that's on your heart?
Yeah, I would just say, again, step through that fear, step through that hesitation, because what are you waiting for? I mean, are you just going to keep putting it off and putting it off and putting it off? And you're just wasting precious time when you could be doing so much better for yourself. And I would just get the ticket, be at the event, step through your fear, step through your hesitations, because once you come out on the other side, it's just the greatest feeling in the world, and you'll be so proud of yourself, and it just pays off in every other aspect of your life as well. So I'm just excited. I can't wait to be with you and everybody else in May. And yeah, just do it. That's what I would say.
Absolutely. And I am just an absolute testimony to that. Just jumping through your fear. Again, being in corporate America for 15 years, hitting the glass ceiling, taking a week off to test my notary business that I had just started that year, and making what I made in that first week, and really just coming back and sitting right in front of this computer and just hearing a voice telling me, if not now, when? Oh, when that calling came, I took action, turned my resignation letter in. 3 years later, it has been a blessing. No regrets, no turning back. And the greatest thing about it is that you're not alone. You're not alone in this journey. When you get into community, you have people there with you that are looking for you to make it, that are pushing for you, that are your cheerleaders, and they are always going to be there. And it's just amazing. Just even reflecting back on that. Thank you so much, Bruce. Thank you for joining us on Building a Leadership Mindset podcast. You have been an amazing guest, and I can't wait to have you back on when we get all of our speakers closer to the event so we can really dive into what to expect. So for the next 82 days, we are going in live on the event page, and we are just going to drop all the speakers, all the information, every update that we have for you and what to look out for this event. Thank you for joining another episode of Building a Leadership Mindset podcast. Have a great day. And as I always say,